Good morning today, 1:55. Beautiful day. Big shout out to my beautiful wife who is in the UK for her second day. She arrived yesterday and she's seeing friends and doing stuff as we speak. So hope you're well, babe. Love you. It'll please her to say that we've had a little tiny bit of rain this morning. We've got some clouds and the dogs barked from about 3:45 this morning, so that'll make you feel a little bit happier. But anyway, still warm and you're cold. Anyway, where are we today? Today being countdown. 3 days left to the big day. Big day. Hope everyone around the world supports the veterans around the world, certainly from World War I and II this Sunday. Massive important day. One I certainly try and educate my kids on, that's for sure. And I think every parent's job is to make sure that never gets forgotten. In Barbados, being an ex-English part of the Commonwealth, they certainly support it, but don't support it in the way that we do in England. So there's poppies everywhere, but no one really talks about it, no one really does anything, which is a real shame. But anyway, you didn't come on here to listen to me ramble on about Veterans and Remembrance Day. Today's about where we are with the build. So, we've got a tough week ahead of us. Trying to get suppliers to supply and provide is very, very difficult here. Where I'm concerned, I'm looking at this beam now thinking it's a 4-foot beam by 16 inches wide. It is going to take shed loads, absolutely shed loads of concrete. And the guy that's meant to be coming out and doing the concrete just doesn't commit to coming out to measure up. So if he doesn't come out and measure up, then we're just not going to get the concrete in and poured. So we're telling him we want to go Tuesday. He still hasn't come out and assessed how much concrete we actually need. So at the moment we've got a roof which is 40 foot by 80 foot, which is going to be 6 inches thick, and it's got a beam going all the way around the outside, a beam through the middle and a beam through the centre as well. So there's an 80 foot beam going right through, which is about a foot. There's a 40 foot beam going from the middle, which is about a foot. So obviously that just means there's extra concrete. And then we've got this monster, which as you can appreciate is 4 foot tall and 16 inches wide. So the amount of concrete that's going to go into there is absolutely monstrous. And I also don't have any form of management from the contractor here, making sure that what's being built is being built right. So I'm using skilled individuals and I'm working with them, and my site manager's pretty good. So I'm hoping that what we're doing is right. We certainly need to get more, I would say, more acros in there. Personally, that's what I would do. I mean, we've got them spaced apart every sort of 3 to 4 foot, and they're all doubled up. The only negative I could probably see is that we're spreading across the downstairs beam rather than being directly on it. The downstairs beam is actually on that 16-inch wall. So below here there's 2 8-inch walls that are pulled with concrete, but obviously the acros are sitting either side of it rather than on it. So apart from that, that's the only thing I can think of. Maybe we should put some acros through the middle of each one of these to try and further support. The owner of the construction company on my email last night, or my text last night, asking for more 4x2, another 100 pieces. He's just as bemused. How can you support a floor downstairs which is the same size and bring all that down and bring it up here and now need another 100 pieces? But when you start looking at how many 4x2s have gone into this piece, and the roof next door, because of the height and the span, they're all doubled 4x2. So you've obviously got the single ones going across, but then you've got double 4x2, double 4x2, double 4x2, and that is 80 foot long. So mix that with obviously the beam at the front. The beam at the front has got 4x2 all over it. Now some of that is the boxwork we used in and around the side of the building, but there's still shed loads of 4x2s that have been used into up here. We actually need another 100. So we've needed at the moment, we might need more, but we needed another 50 sheets of ply, and we need another 100 4x2s. So, and lumber, as we know around the world, especially here, is bloody expensive at the moment. So yeah, we've got a bit of a material issue. We've got to get it in, and we've got in order to get it up. And then we've also got to get people that are meant to be committing to supplying us with services, concrete company mainly, to get their bloody arse in gear and come out and do what they've got to do and give us commitment. But there just seems to be a very loose commitment on the island. So there's a business opportunity for everybody. If anyone wants to come to Barbados and have a business opportunity, set up a concrete company, because the 2 or 3 companies on the island have got the monopoly. Like everybody else on the island, mobile phone companies, electric companies, you name it. There's only a few competitors on the island, so people just go, yeah, what it is, whatever. It just needs a bloody good shake-up to get these people actually doing what they should be doing. But anyway, so I'll try and chase him and get him out today. He's promised he's going to come out today. So, you know, we've only got 5 working days. We work Saturday and Sunday to get the concrete in. So he needs to measure up, give me a price, and start ordering all the material in so we can get going. What else? Today we need to try and get courses of blocks in the bathroom we talked about. So that needs to be done, although that's not pressing. We do need to get the boxing coming across the hallway. Which obviously the guys yesterday that doing the formwork upstairs didn't arrive, so we need to find out what the hell's going on there. The guys are pretty much rebarred, as you can see the rebar up on the roof there. Look, that rebar is going all the way along at the moment. You can pretty much see where it stops. I think they pretty much did all of it yesterday. Oh, it's there, look. So they've got to about there. So obviously it's not finished, but I mean that's all laid that way, and they're obviously now laying this way as well and tying in. All of those are loaded in. So they've got about another third of the roof to go to get that in. And then they've got to get it smocked up in the air, and then we've got to try and get the mask, let it dry out today and get the masking tape on there. Duct tape on there, sorry. The duct tape is essential because, like I said, it just, if there's rain, it leaks, which means when we pour concrete, it's going to do the same. It's quite dry in here at the moment because we didn't have a lot of rain, so fingers crossed that can hold off. It's been a bit spitty this morning. We have also got quite a few cracks appearing like here. So what I need to do at some stage, certainly over the next day or two, is to get downstairs, work out where these cracks are. Morning. And make sure there's acros in and around these cracks to ensure they don't get any worse. I mean, I don't want cracks for obvious reasons, but being internally in the house, apart from the look, it won't cause any major problems. But obviously anything that's cracked outside will cause issues with regards to water or moisture leaking down into inside. So yeah, that's where we are with up here. What else have we got to do? Okay, well, the massive elephant in the room and the pain in my arse is the septic. So we have an issue at the moment with that septic tank. So last night, the septic tank was actually laid into the base that we've laid. So we put a quarter mix, which is a very fine marl, this stuff here. We've laid that into the base of the area itself. It's getting lots of water coming in. So we've lowered the tank in, tried to get it as level as we physically can, and then filled it with about, I don't know, a quarter of water, maybe a bit less, to try and get the weight on it. And then we'll see how that's settled today. And we'll know then whether we've got to take it back up again and re-put some stuff down, or they've got to take some stuff out. But either way, that's been probably my biggest pain in the butt. Anybody coming to Barbados to build a house, my advice to you, try your hardest to find a decent drainage contractor, someone that actually does drainage only, because drainage is massively important to get right here. For those who don't know how it works, there's no drainage, there's no sewage system here. So you have a septic tank which is connected to a suck well, and that being too gory, the septic tank takes all of the waste, including, you know, the water coming from the grease traps, are your sinks and your kitchen areas, and anything which is solid lands up finding its way through the septic tank into the suck well, and the water levels come up and down and basically grab all of it and pull it through the rock and filter it. So hence the reason why we're in the hole, all you can smell is sewage, because obviously the local area, everybody's sewage goes into the soil and goes down, so it's a very strange system. As a result of that, you've got to get it right. If you haven't got the flows right, obviously, it doesn't matter even if you're connected to a standard sewage system, all of your flows have to be right, otherwise it doesn't flow. So yeah, getting the flows here right have been one of the most difficult things, but I think it's mainly because there's a lack of knowledge in and around how it should be done. And everybody expects a plumber to do it here. In England, you've got drainage engineers and skilled ground workers that do drainage, and plumbers deal with pretty much the house in. They don't deal with grease traps and manholes and the general road. So that's what's expected here, but you can clearly see they're not capable. Well, certainly the plumber I've got is not capable anyway. Morning. So yeah, I would strongly suggest that if you're having to do it, which you are going to have to do it, that you try and find somebody that's experienced at doing that one thing only. That way you can get it in, it's done, and you can backfill. At the moment, we've spent the best part of 3 weeks trying to rectify the first lot of aggro that's gone in, and trying to rectify something that's already been done is bloody difficult and very time consuming. you know, an excavator, 200 an hour. We've had one here for nearly 2 weeks now. So 8 hours a day times 14, not 10, 14. So anyway, there's quite a lot to be done today, so we'll try and actually get a bit of a plan. Materials are essential. We've got a big material list that's needed. I'm not too sure if the carpenters are going to arrive to do the roof today. Apparently one of them had an accident, but I'm not too sure what that means. The other two can't be here. But yeah, so I'm going to liaise with them to find out what's going on, because we've got the roof to do for the pour, but then I've got the internals to start getting built as well. So I need the internal structure put together as well. So yeah, I need to work out how I'm going to do that. That's one thing I need to think about and talk to the existing carpenters about, obviously, when I speak to them today. So, but anyway, let's find out what's going on for the day. Let's try and get some of these little bits sorted out, things like that. I mean, who goes home without chipping and doing 2 blocks? All he's got to do literally is those 2 courses, and it could have been complete and gone home, but instead they just leave. So anyway, try and get all these like snaggy bits finished off and start getting into some of the bigger projects and make sure we get things complete. Okay, so a 20 to 3 update. We've got a few issues with the septic yet again. So we managed to get the actual septic out, and we managed to get it filled and put back in. But what we didn't do was fill it with enough water, and as a result of that, it raised. So we've had to take it back out again and blindly take out what we thought needed to come out. So as you can see, it's in, but now it's actually too high at that end. So we've taken out what we thought needed to be taken out, but now we put it in and filled it with water. It's actually now about 3 inches too high at that end, so we need to take more out. So we've got to empty all the water back out again, all the way along from the front all the way to the very back, and then put it back in again and try it again. This time we might be able to put it in with no water in there. Last time it was obviously floating and it was obviously all over the place. We couldn't see what was at the bottom, and at the same time, because it had to wait for the water to go in to sink down, we couldn't see how high it actually was. So we may be able to put it in with very little water in there this time, so we'll be able to see before we fill it. But anyway, we're now having to pump the water back out again so we can actually see how high stroke low it is, or it can be. So we'll see how that goes. So let's have a quick look around and have a little bit of an update on where we are and get around the excavator. Let's have a look. These things are moving, that's for sure. Let's have a look where we are. Okay, so still haven't finished the steps here yet. Records is upstairs managing people. Got beams going in, blocks being laid. We've moved the driveway around, so now all of the machinery that was on the right hand side is now on the left. That also means that we can start digging out the footings for the front garden wall, which have now been done. That's where that will go. The steps are nearly finished. The block layers have started doing the actual couple of courses needed to go around, and the carpenters are boxing in what needs to be boxed in, and they're now manually pouring out the concrete. The carpenters, they're up on the roof. Up on the roof. The hallway now is starting to put a lid on, so you can see the enormity of the actual hallway. So the formwork's going up throughout the middle of the hallway, which is awesome. The house itself, rebar's pretty much done on the house. Just clearing my foot off before I actually walk in the house. So I've actually got crap and mud everywhere. So yeah, huge hallway, absolutely awesome. Right, buddy?
Yeah, brother.
Oh, thanks, mate. Thanks.
Respect me.
You too. So that's looking pretty cool in here. So they're working at the moment actually pouring this beam here. As you can see, the dampness coming through. They're pouring from here all the way to the front. And they're pouring from there across the front to there, and then all the way along jogging here. So 2 door frames and the 6-foot window. These guys are with formwork. Who's formwork? These guys are actually finishing off bolting everything together. So as you can see the amount of work. Go forward. You can see the amount of work that's actually going into bolting this. You've got so many 4x2s on the front. And some monster bolts. Not as big as the first lot, but they are very big. probably will use the big ones in the middle myself, because they are monsters, as you can see. So this is all done. The guys need this bit finished off, so they can actually get the roof over this piece as well, but they need these corners poured. So we've got to get these poured. So we were meant to be trying to get a machine to come in and pour this column here, and it would also pour there, and it would also pour there. That would then mean we can start blocking up and we can go across, but at the moment we're still not got concrete. So the concrete companies here, Rayside is the one we're trying to use, don't return any calls, never arrive when they say they're going to arrive. And in all fairness, the quality of what went in the first time en route to Rayside was hardly quality wants you to reorder and respend. So if Rayside are watching, listening, you could do better. Your customer services is pretty shocking. And on top of that, we're now looking to spend more money with you, and you don't return any calls and you never arrive. So that attitude breeds competition. Competition wipes the floor with people, so you should be careful. You wouldn't survive in England, that's for sure. So plywood is being used, which it shouldn't be, but at the same time it is being used in the main foyer. Probably used about 4 sheets already so far. We should have plywood here, and there's some stuff here. But anyway, it's all got to be used, it's all going into the house, not as if we're actually just misusing it. We're using it wherever we can. So we'll see. They're finishing the formwork up there. These boys, if we don't get these columns poured, then again we can't take the block work up and continue the roof through. So we need block work done. We can't do block work without concrete being poured. So pouring the beams means we can block lay, and that's the same on the front, but obviously we're relying on a company to pour those. But if it carries on the way it is, we'll bloody do it ourselves if we have to. Or go to another company, one of the two. I mean, I'd much rather just keep it where it was in the first place. We can just get it done, but not being held at gunpoint by anybody. So fingers crossed, they'll come back to us and we'll get it dealt with. If not, we'll find someone else. Let's have a take a look upstairs so I can show you what's actually gone on up there. So this is the roof. Monstrous. Imagine having a view like that. So this is the rebar, 3/4 finished. We're going to get it smocked so we can try and get it all taped. All these joints in at the moment are letting water through downstairs, so we need to try and seal those. And obviously that's a good sign of whether you're going to be letting concrete drip through as well. And being a polished floor downstairs, we can't have concrete coming through, so we need to get that done. And as you can see, this is what we're waiting to do to go across here. So in order to go across, we need to have this beam here internally boarded up, and we need this one here finished off with bolts so we can actually come up and come across. In order to do that, we need this beam poured, and we need the blocks laid across, and we need the beam put on there, and the boxing come up here as well. So exactly the same that's taking place through this side. As you can see, a 2-foot beam going through there. That 2-foot beam's also got to carry on past there. So we need that bit poured, and we need that bit poured, and we need that bit there poured. And that obviously carries on underneath here as well. So once that's done, then we can box up after we've actually done the blocks, then we can obviously box up both sides, we can put the beam through and box up all of this, and this all connects. So that stays at the height it's at the moment. This carries on up and across. But obviously that's blocks, so that needs to be blocked up to this level. And that stays down, that becomes the garage roof. So the garage roof is going to come off of here, so Rasta's laugh. So anyway, we need smocks. Get us some bloody smocks. Get the smocks up here, get it off the floor. Let's get it actually taped up. We need to scrape it before we tape, because at the moment this is concrete on the floor, which means it's not going to tape very well. And then once we've done that, we can actually start going across. That can't come bloody soon enough, I can tell you. Yeah, but anyway. And obviously the front's got to be boxed up as well. All the way along here's got to be boxed up all the way along, 4-foot sheets. Once we've done that bit there, that gets boxed up along 4-foot sheets. The roof itself, obviously, this is the beam that's going across the door, as in the front door, and this is the beam that's going to land up going across the front of the actual entrance. So again, that'll be small beams going through there, but obviously that'll go across and tie into 2 beams that go that way. So yes, lots of work, still lots to be done, but we are seeing light for the end of the tunnel. We're still being very, very optimistic to try and get this done by mid-December. When I say mid-December, we're hoping to get this house livable. The rest of it obviously will be a work in progress, potentially even the garage will be a work in progress. But if I can try and get guys here and work at the same time, then there's no reason why we can't continue there as well. So anyway, that's the plan so far. So another 2 hours left of the day, so let's see how we go. Okay, so we're 5 to 5, everyone's wrapped up. The septic is now back in, balanced, fingers crossed, that is good to go. We've run out of bolts, so we need to get more bolts tomorrow to get the beam finished off, but the beam is looking good. I don't know what the hell's going on with concrete, it's another thing we need to sort out, but at the moment he doesn't seem to be responding. Concrete company, that is. No change in here. However, one thing we have done is downstairs we put more jacks in and around the stair area and any cracks we can physically see in the floor. But upstairs has been rebarred. The roof in the hallway has been taken to level around here. Let me just show you. So all of this has been poured. That's all poured, that's all poured, that's all poured, and that all around there is poured, which means that once that's dried and come out, we can go up the same height over here in blocks, which also means that the formwork here can come right across. So that's good. Steps were poured as we know. We can do in there in the next couple of days or so. As you can see, there's a couple of blocks that have gone on, but we don't need to do that yet because that's a separate pour. Still got to finish off the blocks on there, which is fine. Septic hopefully will be finished. We'll fill up. You all right? You see, I'm not talking to myself. It's actually man in the pit. What else? Obviously the garage has been moved. Sorry, the material has been moved for the garage, obviously, because then we can start doing the foundation for that. And we have actually started digging out the wall. So there will actually be, at the very front, there'll be 2 recessed walls where the garage door will be, set back around about 7-8 foot from the front. So quickly show you what I mean. So the foundation has actually been dug out for that now, so we can actually get that done. Some of the blocks are out of the wall, but there's the beam coming out. That beam will go right across the very front of the garage, and this will be one of the first walls, and we'll dig them out over there. And then tomorrow we're going to finish off the septic, and we're also going to dig right along here and do the drainage all along the front. So we've got to do 3 manholes down there, 2 manholes and 1 grease trap, and then we've got to then run the drainage pipe all the way over straight into that manhole, and then hopefully that will be the ugly arse of the septic done, and I won't have to see it ever again, unless I've got to unplug it, obviously, which I'm sure I have to with my wife and kids. She's asking how that's looking. Elvis, how's it looking? Yeah, good? Good. So that's looking good as well. So we'll let that set tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow morning we'll come in, it'll be set in place, and then we can backfill it, and then we can also pour loads of mud over it so it holds it down, pump the water out, and then we're good to go. Fingers crossed. So that is it for another day on planet Earth. And as you can see,